our founder claims, this right here is an embodied form of the violet ray spectrum.
Tap in and tune in Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern. Live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Grand Rising with ChristoLight, your sacred space for discovering the Ascended Masters in crystal healing. Ashe. What a time we are in. What a time we are in, and what a time to be alive on this planet that we call Earth right now. Tell you what, we are moving and grooving and going through some planetary shifts, no doubt. Happy full moon in Aquarius, everyone. Happy node switch that took place on the 26th as we moved out of the Virgo Pisces axis into the Aquarius North Node and Leo South Node. And also celebration and joy of beginning the Lion's Gate on yesterday. The Lion's Gate period goes until 8/12, peaking at 8/8, connecting and aligning the star planet Sirius with the Giza pyramids, with the sun. We also have Jupiter with the sun as well. And boy, what a time we're in. You know, a very, very big topic came up about 2 weeks ago with the Dr. Samuel Lee situation. And that brought me into talking about plant medicine safety and space holding awareness. And I had a couple episodes, and you guys can replays, talking about plant medicine safety, cults as well, and how to identify and navigate these type of energies. And then due to me expressing and being open about my perspective on plant medicine safety and things of that nature, Grandmother Blue Star, Barbara Meister Vitale, she had reached out to me and she had wanted to be a sacred guest here on Grand Rising with ChristoLight to be able to share any wisdom that was called surrounding native traditions, space holding safety, and anything else regarding her journey and story that can help our collective come into a more conscious state of ourselves. So here in a moment, we are going to be joined by our sacred guest for this episode, Grandmother Blue Star. But before we get started and she joins us, I want you guys to check out something. So I've been working on a new project with the community of the Sacred Kingdom, and I have been so inspired to create a more conscious news outlet, so to say. Now, we call this news, but this is more like galactic reports, as myself and fellow members, each Saturday, we drop a new episode where we're helping you guys prepare for the week ahead, consciously and holistically. So we share about the astrology that you should look into for the week. We talk about herbal allies and crystals that you can utilize. We give you a chakra of the week to focus on. And then we also talk about the Mayan galactic wave spell, as well as give you guys mind, body, emotion tools to complement your journey. So we call this the Galactic Guidance Report. And I'm going to let you guys check out our first episode. Here are the highlights.
I'm here to help you because a lot of people get nervous or scared, and you might have just started a spiritual awakening in my art way. And by studying masters of these, this knowledge, this wisdom, Leo season has just started, and with Leo season comes Lionsgate portal.
So for this week's homework, the first thing that is important, and I'll show you how to do it, is to find your galactic signature. And so I'll share mine, and that way you'll know how to do it. Okay. And if you follow my arrow, you'll see towards the right hand side it says birth date decoder. So you're going to click on that blue button that says birth date decoder. And then you can see in the center there, it says enter a date to decode. So what you would do
is focus on helping women find themselves through workouts. So today I'm going to speak to you about small habits that could lead to big changes, guys. And creating small habits such as brushing your teeth.
So the lesson today is simple. If you love your partner, don't ask empty questions. Come with options. Come with confidence. And come with snacks in the car.
And if you're the one being asked, stop acting mysterious like dinner is a prophecy. Say what you want before everybody ends up mad and underfed.
There it is. Because at the end of the day, love can survive a lot, but hungry confusion will take a good night straight to the
invited into. That's what this galactic news is all about. It's a return to the mother in all ways. Okay, so this is what I want to bring you into. So today's the day out of time, which is kid number 228, yellow resonant star. But so e maho ayum hunaku eva maya e maho, which means all hail to the harmony of mind and nature.
And then also having a dysregulated emotional and nervous system. So believe it or not, you can even try out some foods or a diet this week to help with your root chakra. And that is with root vegetables like beets, potatoes, carrots, onions, on the ChristoLight Broadcast Network, for our next episode of the Galactic Guidance Report, as we help get you ready for the week ahead in cosmic and divine order, self-empowered as the I Am. Thank you for sharing this unified space. So that is the Galactic Guidance Report. So be ready. Tune in anytime with us, as you can watch the replays. But if you want to tap in on the live premieres, Saturday at 1:11 p.m. Eastern is the time that we will be dropping our new episodes. Sometimes they're going to be pre-recorded, sometimes we'll be live, but you guys will know if you are keeping up and paying attention to our flow. You will know what's coming up in the next episode, and you will also know if it's going to be live or pre-recorded. So as we're still waiting for our sacred guest, Grandmother Blue Star, to join us, I wanted to read a little bit out of the Shamanic Egyptian Astrology book. And this is by Linda Starwolf and Ruby Falconer. And this is our planetary relationships to the gods. Now, today is the full moon in Aquarius. So what I want to read about to all of us is what Aquarius means in shamanic Egyptian astrology. So I'm going to read a little bit out of this book just to give us a little bit of insight to reflect on, and maybe some of thoughtful that we can bring into our full moon. Okay. Have in Aquarius the god Ta, or the archetype Ta, number 23. There's like a nice little quote to help honor to this energy archetype. Ta, we have eagerly awaited your return. You once created a civilization where you taught that all creation must come from the mind that lives within the heart. Some listened, but some did not, and that age passed away. The time has come to enlighten so that they can hear your words of wisdom. Without you, we will fail, and this great experiment will end on earth. Open our hearts and listen. We will once again remember what is true, what has value, and what lies ahead. We can dream a world worth living. These seeds is the DNA of our ancestors coursing through our blood, and the container is our heart. Ta, activate the golden age that lives in our imaginable selves and end the selfishness dawning of your light. Ta is a creator, while Kum creates the humans and animals upon the earth. Ta created the earth and the sky. Many believe that the modern name Egypt comes from Agiopotes, the Greek translation of his name, Haka-Ta, which means Ka or mansion of Ta. All exists because of Ta. Ta represents the power of the divine upon earth. He was often paired with Amon and Ra. Amon is the hidden power of the divine, and Ra is the visible power in the heavens. Ta is the power of the divine manifest here on the earth. So again, Amon is the hidden, all-permeating force. Ra is the knowing, visible force of knowledge and truth and light in the heavens. And then Ta is the power of the divine that has manifested its rays into material form here on the earth. So Ta, the way he speaks comes from his heart and mind. The ancient Egyptians believed that the mind resided in the heart. Ta is a loving, compassionate creator who gives form to his creations by the thought he thinks and the words he speaks. In the Christian tradition, it is said that God spoke and the world was formed. So too with Ta, the world was formed from his loving thoughts and words. Ta is the sign Aquarius in the Western astrology language. Aquarius is an air sign concerned with the growth, development, and expression of the collective, while Capricorn is concerned with the rules upon which a collective is run. Aquarius is the collective. Aquarian individuals are visionaries looking to the future, where you're going, what we need, what do we next need to create, where are we going? These are the questions that concern them. All the air signs involve the thinking function. Gemini and Libra are about the personal expression of the thinking function. Aquarius is interested in the big picture. Aquarians think in terms of the collective, the planet and the cosmos. We create our reality is a phrase that has come to be used to describe how our ideas, thoughts, and attitudes affect our emotional, psychic, and spiritual well-being. This is a very important concept Here we see the shining essence of Ta. The question must be asked of us all. What is our perspective? When we come from an ego-based place of fear and control, the reality we create for ourselves can be painfully lonely and conflicted. When an entire society comes from a place of fear and control, intolerance builds and can lead to the discrimination, racism, and even genocide. If our thoughts are based in open-hearted love and compassion for all things in the universe, our creations will be joyful, reflection of our inner landscape. The thoughts we think, the words we speak, the partnerships that are formed with other people, and the resultant creations of these relationships will nurture and sustain us all. Ta is the compassionate overseer of the work we did in the creation of this book, for it is he that understands that the language of all things, including the language of astrology, results in the creation of those things upon the earth. The language of Western astrology is based in the cultural worldview of societies that existed during the ascendancy of the patriarchy. Built into their fabric is an essential imbalance of power between the masculine and feminine forces of society. This is not about gender, although the effects of the imbalances have definitely been felt by both men and women. The imbalance has created a break in the necessary flowing relationship between the receptive, gestating power of the feminine and the active, penetrating power of the masculine. The essence of the new aeon that we have only just entered, the age of Aquarius, is that we now have the power not only to repair this break and to rebalance the masculine and feminine polarity upon our planet, but to move beyond that duality into a new wholeness. Crucial to this work is an understanding that we must all embody Ta in our own psyches. Not only do we have the power to create our own reality, we have the power and ultimately the responsibility to create a new reality here on planet Earth. We must step into our roles as adult children of God. The challenge to us all is to move beyond our childhood betrayals, abandonments, and understand that while yes, we have been wounded, abandoned, and betrayed, our divine parents have never abandoned us. We have always been held in the rainbow wings of Isis. Anubis has always guided us through the darkest nights of our soul. Thoth is always there to inspire us and awaken our imagination. It matters not what name we call these forces, for they are essential principles that govern our lives here on Earth. I'm going to read that last sentence again. It matters not what name we call these forces or archetypes, for they are essential principles that govern our lives here on Earth. What is most important for us to understand is that they love us totally and completely. When we open our hearts to the love that surrounds us on this planet, in this universe, we open our hearts to Ta. And the words we speak become our loving creations. We create a compassionate, loving reality for ourselves and for our world, just as Ta has lovingly created this beautiful planet to nurture and sustain us. As we tiptoe slowly into the new age of Aquarius, it becomes important that each of us do what we must do to heal our wounded ego so that we can participate in lovingly creating a new vision for our world. Those with Ta emanating strongly in their charts are the true visionaries of our world. They have a responsibility to use their abilities to create the new reality. When Ta emanates through our planets, both within our own charts and for the collective, a time of great creativity is upon us. Wow. So when you think about that, from the aspect of, yes, we are in the full moon in Aquarius, but on top of that, our North Node as a collective on this planet is now aligned in Aquarius as well. So we are feeling a lot of Age of Aquarian energy right now as we are moving into this Lionsgate portal. And boy, it's being felt. It is definitely being felt. It's time for a new threshold. It's time for a new dawn, a new era. Things are going to get exposed. Things are going to collapse. Things are going to be built. They're going to continue to grow all at the same time. But what's most important is, what are you doing and what are you going to do with your mind, body, emotions as we continue to move through this as a collective and as an individual soul journey? And the wisdom in here, so priceless. To remember that eternal connection to the mother and father throughout the chaos, throughout the change, through the confusion, the propaganda, and through all of these different things being put out in the world right now, is almost most key. Being in that eternal flow, remember the silver lining, and remember that you are the living spirit in a temple that is able to alchemize, bring change, bring revolution, and help evolve this planet. So thank you. And I'm glad that you guys are here and on this planet at this time. Shamanic Egyptian Astrology is the book that I just read out of for you guys. And it's by Linda Starwolf and Ruby Falconer. So as I wrap up here and get ready to bring on our wonderful sacred guest, Grandma Blue Star, I'm going to give you guys a practice that you guys can use either today on this full moon or the next few days if you would like. And this is a way to honor the Aquarian energy or Ta. So go to a place where you can have a view of the bigger picture, to the top of a tree, a mountain, a rooftop, somewhere with a large vista. If this is not possible, look at a picture of a grand view. Look for something that gives you a sense of spacious light and air. Breathe deeply, breathe deeply, center, connect to your heart. Read the invocation to Ta. With each breath, focus on opening your heart of compassion and wisdom. When you feel that heart has opened, ask for a vision of the new earth as seen from your soul's perspective. Receive what comes to you, small or large. Ask why this vision is coming to you. What can be part in birthing the new age? What can be your part in birthing new age? Perhaps something personal has come to you, something you need to write a letter to your congressman or sign a petition. Perhaps you need to join a social campaign of some sort or write a letter to the editor. As ideas come to you, pass them through your heart as if your heart is a container. Ask yourself, does this corn for me? If it does, it will feed the people. If it doesn't, let it drop back and dissolve. Continue until something rises up from your heart that really wants to be born through you, regardless of how small or large. Bring it up from your heart and into your throat. Give it a voice, a roar, a scream, a song, a statement. Something you know in your heart is true. Now speak it and sound it into an affirmation. Journal your experience and now act. And that is a wonderful practice that you can connect with the Aquarian energy, this full moon, and node switch. Shamanic Egyptian Astrology. Alrighty, it looks like our sacred guest is here and ready to join us. So we'll go take a little look into the sacred and how you can be a part of the community and connect with our website. And then once we're back from this ad, we will be joined by Grandmother Blue Star, Barbara, Meister.
Imagine booking a soul session, ordering crystals, and joining a live retreat from your phone. For too long, finding the right healers, the right products, the right community has meant endless searching across scattered corners of the internet. That changes now. The Sacred Kingdom has arrived, an online hub where a worldwide directory of holistic practitioners, readers, life guides, organic makers, musicians, a crystal shop, books, and more are all waiting for you. Book one-on-one sessions, order products, and discover Kingdom members serving locally in your area, all from your fingertips, wherever you are, whenever you're ready. Stay connected to upcoming events and retreats, both online and in person. Tap into a YouTube channel built for real conversation, hands-on holistic learning, and free giveaways. And there's more coming: courses, programs, a holistic recipe book, and the Sacred Kingdom Mystery School Academy mentorship. This is a space built on love, compassion, and the belief that conscious living should be accessible to all walks of life. Visit thesacredkingdom.com, and if you feel called to build from within, email Marcus ChristoLight at marcustut23@gmail.com about joining the Kingdom Council. The kingdom is open.
Alrighty. I'm honored to now introduce and welcome into our Grand Rising with ChristoLight space, Grandmother Blue Star, Barbara Meister Vitale. A little bit about her background. She is an international lecturer. She is the director of the Meta Intelligence Institute. She was officially made a Lakota relative in 1986. She has training in Maori, Aboriginal, and star knowledge from Mexico and Peru. She is a former teacher of 20 years, elementary to college, with disabled students. She is also the author of 2 best-selling books, and she also has her newest book, which is Beyond Imagination. And then the 2 best-selling books that she has, you guys can find all of these on Amazon: Unicorns Are Real and Free Flight. And then she also has a collaboration for the book, The Wisdom of Sam. So that is our wonderful sacred guest of this episode, Grandmother Barbara Vitale. And I'm going to go ahead and now welcome her onto the stage. Welcome, Grandma Blue Star.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an interesting morning.
I would say.
Yeah. Just before.
How's your morning been over there?
How's the what? Let me turn up.
How has your morning been over there?
You know, I'm getting just so you know, I'm getting a real echo. I don't know why. Maybe it's the rain we got. I have no idea, but it'll work. Let's just get rid of it. Right.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, great. So yeah, I was just asking, how is your morning going? You said it's been quite the morning.
Good, good. You know, that's my choice. I can have a good morning or I can have a bad morning. I choose. Nobody else chooses. I create the reality I live in.
Absolutely. I shaded that. Thank you for that.
So do you have some questions? What do you want me to talk about this morning?
Yeah, I definitely have some great questions to share. Ooh, man. So, you know, there's something that happened recently that kind of came into our collective field awareness, revolving an incident where there was a space holder and a lady had passed away while being involved in a quote unquote ceremony that involved many different substances. And that inspired and had me really wanting to share and just talk about, you know, the type of etiquette, the type of ethics, and the kind of safety that we should be looking for as space holders when it comes to energy work and medicine. So some of the things that I wanted to explore with you was just getting the wisdom and any of the knowledge that you have from your experiences that you've learned when it comes to space holding ethics as well as energetics and being a shamanic type of space holder for others through their transformation and journey. And I know that you have a rich history of sitting with many different cultures and native tribes, including the Lakota. So I was actually curious, is there any type of wisdom or anything that you feel called to share with the collective today when it comes to space holding ethics and just what to look for in ceremony and how to have a safe and proper ceremony space?
Well, there's two things. One is to be absolutely skilled in any CPR or what medications they're taking. For instance, years ago, I asked everyone, are you on any medications before they went into lodge? And everyone said, no, we're not. So we went in, and in the middle of the lodge, one of the women started into a seizure and was leaving. Come to find out, after we brought her back, she was on blood pressure medicine. And if you're on blood pressure medicine, you do not go into a lodge because it will kill you. That lodge drops your blood pressure. So knowing the different medications and being very cautious of them as a ceremonial leader, whether it is taking ayahuasca or whatever it is, anytime you leave this body or anytime you go into portals or have an experience, that's the reason sun dancers don't eat, is because of that. That's one of the reasons. So your body needs to be clear of those things. So, some people who get my age have had to give up going into lodge because the medications they take are not safe, or they go in with one rock, so that would be the first thing. The second thing would be learn how to court a person so that when you put your hands on them, you can get their heart beating in sync with your heart. Know how to bring them back if they're way out there. If you're doing a regression or a ceremony, again with ayahuasca or ketamine or whatever, make them promise when you call their name, they will come back into their bodies. Otherwise, it's really beautiful out there sometimes. And I know on my fourth near-death experience, it was so beautiful out there. And I was sent back. But for 2 months, I had depression because I didn't want to be here. I wanted to go back there. So, but, there's different places when you leave here. And so, if you have a lot of karma, you're not going to go to that place. You're going to get to come back and deal with it again. And I think knowing that and having that awareness. The other thing is, I don't care what ceremony you're doing. You walk in respect, which means not judging. It means not gossiping. It means not losing your temper. It means staying in that energy of respect and acceptance, because we don't always know what the other person is going through. I know when we do lodge here, I always ask people to take a rock or something and go off to the side and deal with all of their emotions so that they don't take them into the lodge. So that would be, it's always have your energy at a place of love, period. And that respects the energy of the whole ceremony. The other one is that I wear protection, not because I'm afraid, but sometimes I forget. All of us sometimes get triggered. And when we get triggered, it leaves openings for other things to come in. And lots of trauma from your childhood, things may have come in that are still there. So I just wear that protection because it makes my little girl feel safer. And if I screw up, there's something there to keep me safe. There's lots and lots and lots of individual protocols. Like in the Native American, even when you're talking to them, you do not look them in the eye, you look over the shoulder. And for many of the, I don't like the term New Age, but those people who have a different culture, they think they're avoiding them or being disrespectful, when in fact, they're being very respectful. Is you just look over their shoulder, never directly in their eyes. Hugging in the traditional way is a no-no. Touching someone's hair because your hair is your connection to spirit. Touching any jewelry. Especially touching a sun dancer. Or even when they come out of the lodge, that lodge leader is someplace else. And you don't go up to them and, start touching them or asking them a question, because they're not there yet. So those are just a few of the things, especially the gossip and the judgment and the criticism and, they don't do their lodge right, et cetera, et cetera. That's none of your business. All you can do is share what the elders have shared with you. I have a very, very dear friend who lodge is different than the way I have the lodge here on the land, which is very, very traditional and very based on numerology and sacred shapes, etc. But his is different, but he helps a lot of veterans and a lot of people who aren't ready for what I'm offering. So people will be attracted to those ceremonies, that they're comfortable with. And I know I'm talking a lot, but anyway, the other thing is the way you dress. In the ceremonies I have been to, whether they are in Australia, Peru, Mexico, Lakota, Hopi, it doesn't matter. Women show up covered. There's a very good reason for that, because if they're not, then they're a distraction for the males. And if a woman is really, really beautiful and only half covered, that takes that ceremony away from the man because he can't concentrate on the ceremony. So that's a very practical thing that people don't think. Why do I have to wear sleeves? Why do I have to cover up? Well, that's why. It's just practical. We are male and female, and some are mixed. It doesn't matter. So, all right. If you have more questions or if you want to expand on that one, that's a lot to dump all at one time.
Hey, that was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. And I definitely resonate with all that. So I just wanted to touch a little bit about the experience that took place, the experience that took place about 2 weeks ago that made the news headline. There's a couple of things in it that really stood out to me that I wanted to kind of touch on and see your perspective on as well. And that is of different types of plant medicines in a space for a quote unquote ceremony. So, what happened in this case that is going around is that this space holder had held a what do you call it, a heart opening protocol.
I'm
Here,
here.
it's echoing when your mic is on. So I'm gonna mute your mic while I talk so it doesn't echo.
All right.
There we go. Not sure why it's doing that. But so what happened was this doctor who is a medical board doctor and then went into holistic healing and things like that. He had called what he called this heart opening protocol, and he had mixed multiple different substances between ketamine, DMT, and MDMA. And then on top of mixing all three of these compounds within a 3-day period, also have their clients go through multiple infrared saunas and also do a deep parasite cleanse right beforehand. And this resulted into being a part of what had this lady pass away of last year, taking this heart opening protocol, quote unquote. And for me, as a space holder and someone that has abused many drugs and has overcame abuse of drugs and has found honor in plant medicine and has been able to be a part of it for many beautiful transformations, I just myself, I could never see a reason why, logically or in a ceremonial way, that we would want to mix together such components and compounds, especially when you think about the contrast of what they are. MDMA is a amphetamine that accelerates your blood pressure in your heart and can also dehydrate you. And then you have DMT, which brings a full-on out-of-body experience to your consciousness. And then we have a ketamine, which is a tranquilizer that actually numbs you and disassociates you from your reality. So these were all three combined as a protocol within a 3-day period, on top of multiple infrared saunas, which of course is dehydrating as well. And then it turns out that this lady, rest in peace, she ended up transitioning due to dehydration and passed away in the sauna. So I just want to let everyone know out there that we got to really do our homework and we got to be vigilant of what we're getting ourselves involved into. And this is for all sides of the spectrum. You know, as the space holder, as the person participating, I feel like we all got to do our due diligence and really research on what it is that we're going to consume and be a part of. And just from very, very simple and basic research, which we can all do, I just went on Google and typed in, is it a dangerous combination to combine MDMA and ketamine? And literally, it's blasted all over article after article that is extremely dangerous to combine a amphetamine with a disassociate. And then on top of that, you're combining a DMT in multiple saunas. So for me, it's like, where did we slip up here where we thought consciously with the extreme dangers that can take place of this combination that we would make this a protocol in the safety of others? So for me, my integrity, I would never combine things like that together. And one of the things that I've learned is that medicine spirits, they like to be experienced on their own. Clarity and a honor and respect for what they are individually. And that's just kind of like what I've learned with the contrast of the way that these different things react to the body system as well. So I want to open the space up and kind of see your perspective as well and what you've learned when it comes to plant medicines, stacking and mixing them, and things of that nature. You have to unmute yourself.
I thought you were going to do that.
I tried, and then I was like, she has to do it. I was like, okay.
I'm one of those people that cannot take any mind-altering drugs, period. Any ceremony with it. Because I'm so far out there to begin with that if I take them, I mean, I've even tried CBD gummies and it sends me out there for days. So, you know, so I don't do that. I have a family member who is an expert in it. The things I would say again is that, first of all and foremost, which is always true, is you create your own reality. And so if you are not informed and go to someone who is not highly trained, that's really on you. It's not on them. It's your responsibility to understand that 100% of your life you create. No one does anything to you. That everything that happens to you is either karmic, you attract it by your focus and thoughts and words, you create it by your actions, or, you know, you just make a decision. This is what you want. And that goes for every one of us, whether it is the trauma. And like I said in my book, my mother was extremely abusive. I mean, she was an alcoholic, cocaine using schizophrenic. But I came to terms with the fact that she had volunteered to come here to give me the lessons that I had asked for. And so I honored her, and that was the day I got freedom. So number one is, it's your script. It's your movie. The second thing is, don't go to anyone that doesn't have high recommendations. There are a lot of people out there that are doing things and combining things who have not been trained. And, you know, I would never dream of doing a regression with someone who wasn't trained. I would never dream of going in a sweat lodge with someone who wasn't trained. And so I see omissions in the knowledge of some of the people. And this is not a criticism. It's just that if you're going to walk this path as a practitioner, get yourself trained. Know how to pull the body back in. Know what medications should never be combined. Know what medical medications are affected by these different portal openers. And that's important. So I don't know what else to tell you, Christopher, except that, you know, and it may have been her time. This may have been her time to leave. That's not my call. My call ends right here, between myself and the universe. I have no right to speak against or criticize anyone. I can just make the choice not to go there.
Thank you for that. So that'll take me to my next question. And my next question is, you became officially Lakota in 1986. And I've been kind of curious and wanting to learn a little bit about, you know, what kind of brought you into that lineage, and what resonated deeply with you that brought you to specifically the Lakota ancestry? And is there any type of teachings or wisdom from the Lakota that you feel inspired or called to share today?
Oh, I don't usually say this, but you're going to have to read the book to find that out. How did I get there? Well, first of all, I was tricked there. I was out on the road lecturing on unicorns are real and free flight, making lots of money. And I went to a Jean Houston. I don't know if any of you remember Jean Houston, but she was one of the icebreakers for the New Age. And I was sitting there, and I happened to be sitting next to a couple of Native Americans. And they were looking for money to bring her to the reservation to talk to their teachers. So I was still working as an administrator in the school system I was at. And so I went home and I pulled up the Federal Register and I started looking for money for them. And then I tried to get in contact because I found lots and lots and lots of money. And for these types of teachings to be brought to the reservation. But I couldn't find the men. So I called the Bureau of American Indians and got a hold of a man. And this man said to me, "Oh, we know you. My brother's using your books. Here's his phone number." So I called and he says, "Oh yeah, will you come out and teach the teachers?" So that's how I got on the reservation. From there, magical things happened. And I got another phone call that said, "We're going to have a party for you. Will you come out and bring your charge card?" Well, I didn't know that when you were having a ceremony for yourself that you paid for everything. So a few $1,000s later, my credit card was maxed out and I had bought everything that was necessary, including a buffalo to eat. And we went to this auditorium, and of course, I don't speak Lakota, and everybody was talking in Lakota, and all of a sudden they brought me into the center of the room and began to say things and gave me a name and tied an eagle feather in my hair and put a shawl around my shoulders, and I was Lakota. Now, why that happened? I have a full recall of being a Lakota in the lifetime before this. So when I was out there, I felt at home. But from that change, that invite to the res changed my whole life. So that's what happened there. That's how I got adopted. It's not adopted. It's called making of a relative. It's called a hunka ceremony. And you actually, I said one time that to one of the elders that I had been accepted by the Lakota. And he said, "Absolutely not. You are Lakota. You've been hunked, period." So, my DNA is 1/4 Cherokee. And of course, a lot of Celtic, but I walk the Lakota and the Celtic ways.
Beautiful. So that's a great way to go into the next question. So I don't know what it is in my soul, but I have a really deep resonance with the Celtic lineages, and I've really loved studying and coming across just like the King Arthur timeline, the Albion light body, and becoming aware of the different dragon lineages and guardian connections that come through the Celtic Ascene languages. Is there anything that you would like to share about the ancient traditional Celtic culture with us today? Because I feel like it is something that holds a lot of beauty and a lot of great spiritual symbolism and ways to connect to spirit, but it's not talked about as much as native or, Asian or Indian cultures like it is today. So I'm just curious if there's anything about the Celtic lineage that you would like to share with us today.
Be glad to. First of all, let me start out by saying that the Lakota day starts when the morning star comes up and ends at dusk. And the Lakota day starts when the moon comes up and ends when the morning star comes up. So the combination of two forms that complete circle of energy. Many of the beliefs can go this way. In other words, the Celtic is very much involved with earth. A lot of the Celtic teachings that are out there are based on other cultures coming in. My grandmother, who is a gift to me, taught me the old Celtic ways. And they are based on not just merging with everything. They're based on merging to the point that you're one with everything. So I am no longer walking around as a human. I'm walking around as a tree. I'm walking around as a rock. And I am teaching a Celtic class. We started out with 50. We're down to, I think, 12, because it's a hard concept. It's a hard concept, and it takes you out of the center and has you to recognize everything else before you go back to you. In other words, when you go to a tree, you don't ask the tree what its message is for you. You ask the tree what its purpose for being here is. If you line up 7 willow trees and you open a book, the book will tell you the willow tree does da-da-da-da-da-da. When we line up 7 willow trees, we ask each one what its purpose is. Because if I lined up 7 human beings, even if they were all of the same lineage, and asked them their purpose, they wouldn't all say the same thing. So, it's a very intense practice. Yes, you can go learn the May tree. Yes, you can use wands. Yes, you can do that, etc. And there's lots of programs on the internet to do that. And for what they are, they're excellent. But the basis of really the Druid background is that total oneness, just like it is in the Lakota. It's beyond the ceremony. It's becoming the universe. So that's basically, what it is. And if you have any more questions about it, why, message me.
Yeah. So there is one thing I want to ask you about, just from like the studies I've done about the Celtic lineage. So yeah, I've seen from like studies the mentioning about the Mahi Grail and the Grail lines, as well as King Arthur and the Christo Sophia codes, the Blue Ray and the Blue Flame order, the Melchizedek order being connected to this lineage as well. And then also from other studies in like the galactic knowledges, they talk about the solar dragons or the guardian dragons of basically the Christ codes or the Christo codes, which is the universal oneness codes, basically. Now, are you familiar with any of that stuff? Have you came across any of those things regarding like the Magdalene bloodline, the Sophia dragons, as well as the King Arthur and the Mahi Grail as well?
I have. I don't walk that direction because for me, no matter what practice you're practicing, you go direct. Like, I really honor those beings, and I have read it all, but I want my own dragon that's connected. You know, King Arthur was fully trained, but he was trained in the basics, which is, you know, being able to do the things that he did. You know, each of these people, you know, even Magdalena was trained by spirit or by her elders or by whomever. So my challenge for each of you is to get trained, you know, be aware of these other things, but go to that place where you become the universe, where there's no separation. And you can choose your own path rather than to have someone else's interpretation. You know, I posted something, I think yesterday, about, what's her name? The one that worked with chimpanzees. Boy, name's eluding me. Anyway, she was talking about the experience she had when she became a chimpanzee and how it changed her whole concept of working with the chimpanzees. You know, so we say we know each other, but we really don't. We really don't, you know, especially on a human level. You know, I don't know your inner thoughts, and I don't need to unless you want to share, but I can know your essence. I can know, you know, which tree you are, you know, and you're doing wonderful work. But I guess maybe it's, you know, I've learned more in the last 2 years than I've learned in all of the other years put together. So never stop learning, ever, ever. Never stop reaching out. Never stop knowing who you are. You know, yesterday I posted the fact that I was sitting in my chair and I was meditating, and I was in the meditation of gratitude, and, you know, et cetera, and I realized that my body was pain-free, completely pain-free. So then about few minutes later, I started thinking about all the things I had to get done that day, and my body immediately went into pain. And I went, what? So then I went into meditation, the pain left. I came out of meditation and started thinking, the pain came back. And I went, whoa, whoa. You know, I'm creating this pain. So to become clearer and more that crystal and beyond is why we came here this time. You know, people say, the world is a mess. And I say, no, it's not. No. The world is showing the hidden things so they can be loved away. You know, if you focus on politics or et cetera, you know, that's where your reality is going to be. You know, I am at a place where the words you must, you should, you need to, you have to, if we don't, are not a part of my vocabulary, because the word that has become the focus of my vocabulary is I choose. I choose. I don't have to do anything. I can sit here in pain. I can sit here in judgment. I can gossip. That's my choice. Or I can choose not to, you know, because, and people ask me, are you a Christian? I say, no. I'm a Christian. There is a difference. I walk in those ways, but I don't worship them. I am grateful, you know, very grateful. But as you may have read in the book, I have seen Christ in solid form, as solid as you are, Christopher. So people say, do you have faith? I say, nope, I have experience. Why do I need faith when I see something? You know, I got tickled yesterday because our house is full of fairies and leprechauns and spirits, and I don't make them go away. So I have a medicine piece that I wear all the time. It was a gift, and on one side is my name, and on the other side is a map of Pleiades. Well, about 3 months ago, it disappeared. Just disappeared. So beside my tub where I soak, why, there's a big blue bowl about this big, and it's full of rose petals and gemstones. And I thought, well, maybe I tucked it down in there. So last week I took that bowl out and I dumped it on a towel and went through everything, and there was nothing in there. So I put it all back together. And yesterday I walked in and there was this leather thong hanging out over the edge of the bowl. And I thought, what is that? And I reached down and it was my medicine piece. So whether they were done with it, whether they, you know, but I could almost hear them giggling, you know. And I said, why? And they said, so that you could strengthen the ability to protect yourself without anything on. I went, oh, okay. So things that happened to me, let me put it this way. The universe always has my best interest at heart. The other thing I'd like to share, and it feels like there's someone on here that has not thought of this, all right? And I say to people, do you believe in Creator, Christopher? Christopher, you disappeared. Yeah. Do you believe in Creator? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I definitely believe that there's a creator and that we are all always connected to that creator as the creator experiencing itself.
Right. So you believe in creator. And do you believe creator makes mistakes? Creator. For me, creator doesn't make mistakes. So the next question from me to you is, do you believe creator created you? Yeah, most people self, or you criticize yourself, or you shame yourself, or you have guilt. What you're doing is criticizing creator because you're perfect. You can't be other than perfect, except by your choice and your focus. You know, like I said again in the book, and the first chapter is just about my trauma. The other chapters are about places that I went that were just mind-boggling. You know, everything from spaceships to bilocating to because I know you've read it, but you know, I'm just blessed. I'm blessed. I never say no to spirit. I don't care how absurd it is. You know, I don't say no because I know it wouldn't come to me unless it was in my best interest. The only thing I did do that I'd like to take back is I promised to come here and train doctors. And of course, you have to be in their office in order to train them. And I've had some interesting experiences there because not all of them are open to being trained. You know, the newest doctor I have is incredible. I showed up in his office and I looked at him and there was Mary Magdalene, the Mother Mary standing behind him. And I went, whoa, I'm in the right place. You know, what are the chances of you showing up in the neurologist's office who is one of the best neurologists in the world and seeing the Mother Mary standing behind you? I mean, what are those chances? You know, because I just followed what was coming to me. He was recommended by a friend, and yada, 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 and there I was. So those are the kinds of experiences that I have fun with, you know, and I don't know. I love life. I think it's so much fun and it's such an adventure, you know? The doctors keep telling me I shouldn't be alive. I said, that's your problem. That's your problem. Not mine. I'm still here. And they said, well, we don't understand it. I said, well, would you like me to share why? And some of them, yes, some of them, no. You know, the old neurologist, I gifted him with a book and he labeled me schizophrenic and won't see me. I figured, oh, that was a good message that he wasn't my doctor. You know, don't be serious about all this. You know, if you're in pain, if you're having a challenge, that challenge is there for you to grow. That challenge is there for you to recognize what you're hanging on to. And a lot of times, very spiritual people can bilocate, they can go to other dimensions, they can do healings on others, and they said, well, I've solved my trauma. But the last place that the trauma leaves is the physical body. And, you know, a lot of us in trauma work with the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body, and we clear it. But this poor physical body, those energies are embedded in it. So, like I said, releasing those energies out of the physical body clears all of those discomforts that your body has sent you to say, hey, what about me? I'm here. You know, I'm here. I want to be loved too. So when I go in the bathtub, I put stones that say love on them. I write the word love with washable marker all over my body because I don't get tattoos at my age. And I laugh a lot, you know? You guys are the gods on this dimension. So, if you want to continue to be a victim, you don't want to be around me very much because I'll just laugh at you, or I'll keep my mouth shut and just listen. Because you're the most powerful thing on this planet, along with the other animals and trees. You're not better than, but you know, my plants say to me, I want to be loved today. If I'm out of sorts, I do not go in my garden. I'm not going to expose them to the medicine herbs, to that energy. I wait till I'm centered and until I'm in a really good space, you know. And people say, well, smudge. Yeah, Native American way is smudge, but the Celtic way is to use lavender. You know, it doesn't all have to be the same. I went to my father-in-law's funeral, and it was a Catholic mass. I had my white lace on my head, and I had my handkerchief. And first of all, he appeared, and every time the priest would light the candles, he'd blow them out. And I got to giggling, so I had to put my handkerchief over my mouth and pretend like I was crying because I couldn't stop laughing. And then the priest got up there, and he did the incense, and he went like this, and like this, and like this. And I thought, whoa, that's the medicine wheel. That's the Celtic cross. Now, what's the difference? So I had a good time at the funeral. I don't go to funerals anymore because the spirits tend to drop into my body and say what they're really thinking. And the last time was not appreciated because they basically said, stop fighting over my stuff. You know? So, but life is wonderful. It's joy. It's love. Be that. Okay, your turn. You see this? You muted me. This is what my teacher taught me, Grandpa Dubray. Life is a ceremony. So if you see life as a ceremony, you're okay in any ceremony that you choose to go to. All right.
Man, I love listening to you, Grandma. I could listen to you all day and have conversation. And thank you so much for all that. And it's just so funny, like how similar we are with the way that we connect with spirit and the other side. And you know, I actually discovered my mediumship abilities back in 2015, and I was actually in jail, believe it or not. I was sitting in jail, and I was on a drug abuse charge. And I was sitting up on my rack in the middle of the night, and there was nobody else in the whole pod that was awake besides me. And I'm sitting up on my rack and I'm reading this book about this guy who had a radio show. And on the radio show, he would do mediumship readings. So after I read it, something kind of like tickled me inside and was like, well, if this person can do it, then why can't you do it? So then all of a sudden, I grab a pen and a pad of paper, and I'm just sitting there on my rack in the middle of the night. And next thing I know, something tells me to just mentally let go of my hand. Don't even hold it, just let it be there. So I'm sitting there and I'm just sitting there with a pen. And then the next thing I know, I feel a force of energy start to move my hand and start drawing, automatic writing. And long story short is I ended up connecting with my dad's uncle that had passed away in 89, and I was born in 95. I had never met this uncle before. I had no recollection about him. He's never been mentioned. And then the next day I got out of jail, saw my dad, and my dad had said that we had an uncle, or he had an uncle named Lenny that had passed away in 89, and that he confirmed that. So ever since that moment, I've been more consciously aware of being connected to the other side, so to say. And just like you've talked about, I've had a lot of really full contrast experiences. I mean, I've had so much divine humor get brought through me. I have been shown like such deep rabbit holes of knowledge. I have been able to do meditations where people are able to connect to their family members on the other side, and so much more. And I just felt inspired to share that with what you were sharing as well, because I feel those similarities in the playfulness, the humor, and balancing that with the sacredness and the knowledge of truth as well. And what I also love too, what you shared with the Jesus connection, is it was very similar for me as well. I never quite resonated with traditional dogmatic religions, or say like Orthodox religions when it comes to Christ. For me, I'd always felt a universal presence, a universal connection. And I had this experience, and this was around 2015 as well, where a really good brother of mine at the time, who was actually the one who first brought Reiki into my life, as well as breath work, shamanic healing, and things of that nature. And we were really close. Now, he had an upbringing with his family of heavy Christianity. So that programming had came back up at a period, and it became kind of like projections onto me about, my beliefs and the things that I know and things that I connected with. And then it became like you're if you're studying Egyptian stuff, it's fallen angels and all that type of stuff. And what that led me to was to go within my own self and find the answer of who Jesus, who Yeshua was and is to me in this reality. So at home by myself, this is the first time I had ever consciously went into a inner meditation with the intention of receiving clear answers for something. And when I went into this meditation, I asked the question, and I had it come through me that he is an equal. He is an equal to all of us. He is what they said was a soul brother. He has the same potential. We have the same potential. We carry the same source energy, and that he was just giving us the reminder. He's helping us remember that the I am is the I am, and that we are all the I am. You go back into Matthew. Matthew says, you are the temple of the living spirit. And then you can also go into another part where he says, you guys can do what I can do, if not greater. So if we hear quotes like that, for me, it's not necessarily that we need to worship, that we have to go through someone else in order to reach the creator, but to ultimately remember that you were born innately with the creator inside of you. And that can basically never be removed. Now, yes, you can go through the delusion and the illusions of the free will experience of forgetting. And that's a beauty of this whole journey. But what I took the most from that connection with Yeshua and that raw experience was just that, no matter what direction you go, no matter what choices you make, no matter what circumstance you're under, there is the ability for change. And there's ability to alchemize, as we say. And that ability is instilled within you and me and all of us. And we have what we call, if you want to call it this, that free will to be able to make a choice of what is next for your experience. And yeah, I just, my life has profoundly changed ever since 2015 with really connecting to the more intuitive and spiritual side of life, where things aren't exactly, the words of somebody else or specifically just one book, and that book defines everything. But for me, my greatest and deepest experiences of spirit have been through everyday life experience, experiencing it with my mind, body, emotions, and processing it and really sitting with it and learning from it from within myself. And then seeing that I'm a reflection and fraction of everyone else as well. And therefore, I can learn from my everyday life. I can learn from you. I can learn from my parents. I can learn from material items. And it's all interconnected. And that's one of the most beautiful things that has really stuck with me and has helped me on this journey of feeling that wholeness within me.
Yeah, that is where it's at. And you said something that I'd like to share with everyone. My teacher, Grandpa, was a traditional Lakota Sundance leader, among other things. I never saw him in any regalia except when he was coming into the Sundance. He always wore blue polyester pants, a long sleeve white shirt to hide the brands that he had gotten at the res schools, and bedroom slippers because his feet hurt him. And he always said, "I am nothing. I am a hollow bone. Spirit does everything." So we're at a powwow, and someone was supposed to bring the lunch, and they didn't show up. So Grandpa came to the kitchen door and he said, "Granddaughter, we're going to feed in 50 minutes. And I started to open my mouth, and he said, "No, be over there in 15 minutes. We had just put the meat in the soup pot, just like 5 minutes before. So at that moment, because I trusted him, I let go of all limitations of thought. So when we got over to the powwow, we had one large bowl like this of fruit cocktail. We had one huge pan of soup. We had some bread, and I don't remember what else we had, but we fed, there were 300 people there. We fed all 300 people, and the elders at that time would bring coffee cans with hooks on the top of them so they could take their supper home with them. We filled all of the coffee cups, and when we got done, there was about this much of the fruit cocktail in the pan. There was one loaf of uncut bread. We had started out with 7 of them. And, there was still soup in the pot. And Grandpa looked at me and he said, "Did you get that one?" That was the end of the conversation. So, through you as a hollow bone, or as a believer, or whatever you want to call yourself, you are that. You are spirit. You are enough. You are perfect. It's just opening yourself to that, It's so beautiful, just so beautiful.
Thank you, Grandma. Blue Star, I'm so grateful for you, and just all of us. I'm grateful for all of us to be able to be and share space and have these avatars to experience and express with and decorate ourselves in this such beautiful way. And I'd like to go ahead and kind of wrap up now and just go into our closing. And wow, this has been such a beautiful space, and thank you again for joining us. It's always an honor and so much fun to connect with you, and I look forward to more. So as we close, I just want to kind of go over your books again that are available for everyone. Bring out there to the collective, or if there's anything that you offer that you would like people to be able to reach out to you for, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that space open for you to do so.
I think they're all out of their bodies. They're all out there with spirit. I guess
Did you hear me?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I just want to leave the opportunity on this closeout for you to be able to share where people can find your books, as well as how people can connect with you and what kind of offerings you have. And then also too, if you have any events coming up, or if you know of any events that you want to share with the community.
Yeah. Okay, I have a couple Zooms coming up in August on the 12th and the 19th. with Rainbow Warriors 101, and I'll be talking about medicine plants and the protocols around them, etc. And that's the August 12th and 19th. Other than that, I'm kind of staying. I have a lot of visitors coming to work in the garden with me, so but I am on Facebook. I don't pay very much attention to my website, so if you want to contact me, message me on just Barbara Vitale. And if I don't accept your friend request, Facebook's getting pretty picky as to how many I can have. The book Beyond Imagination can be found on Amazon, and it can be found on Barnes and Noble, your choice. And I may start, and you can buy it through the website, but it's hard to find on the website. So I may I'm thinking about putting it up at a discount price on Facebook. So if you see that, then you just PayPal me the money. And because I don't do Vim or anything, understand something. I don't have a smartphone. We don't get cell service here at all where I live. We live on 180 acres in the middle of the woods, and cell service is out of the question. So the only way you can reach me is through Messenger. So that's about it. Have a wonderful journey. All the book will do for you is to open your minds as to how many dimensions are out there and some of my experiences. And they are really, some of them, off the wall. If your doctor labels you schizophrenic, they're off the wall. But I had a witness for each experience, and I have artifacts that, and I also have a YouTube channel. I think we have 3 up now. And I'll send that to you, Christopher. I don't remember the name of it. I think it's Grandmother Barbara something, but I'm not sure. I'm not a high-tech person.
Oh yeah, no worries. I actually already have all 3 of your books down below in the description for people with the direct link to Amazon. And then I also have your profile on Facebook down below in the description as well for people.
I'm going to see if I can send you let's see. Give me a second here.
Yeah, so Grandma Blue Star, I already have all 3 of your books from Amazon linked in the description down below. Down below on YouTube, it's in the description. And then I also have your Facebook profile in there as well.
What I'm looking for is the got it. Like I said, I'm just going to put up the YouTube. There we go. All right. And we'll see if it'll paste into there. Yep, it will. There you go. That's the YouTube. I think I've got 2 or 3 up right now.
Oh, you have a YouTube channel?
Yeah, I do. That's another one of those spirit things. Through a set of crazy, crazy things, I was introduced to this man who has several awards. He had worked on Star Wars and on the other sci-fi program, and very, very well done. And he volunteered to put a YouTube channel up for me. So now I have a YouTube channel. You may be tired of listening.
We'll definitely have to check that out and share that as well with others. Thank you for being vulnerable and expressive and sharing the things that you've experienced throughout your life. It's really appreciated. And I actually have found it right here. Okay. I am connected already. There you go. Barbara Vitale. Okay.
That's me, at least today.
At least today. In this avatar.
Yeah. I got to figure out what's wrong with my camera, because it keeps showing that I'm looking up to the heaven. Maybe I am, but I can't get my eyes to come down. So I'm going to work on that today. I look like I'm going, oh.
Absolutely.
So laugh. If you don't do anything else,
so
laugh.
I just want to share this.
Okay.
For everyone out there, the YouTube channel.
I also put it in chat.
Vitale. Typically, I'll pull it up on the screen and let everyone look at the screen with it, but technology is being a little glitchy right now, so we're just working with what we can.
Okay, and subscribe, because it doesn't cost anything to subscribe, but it benefits me, because the more subscribers you have, then the more you get advertising, free advertising, etc.
That's right, everyone. Like, share, follow, and Grandma Blue Star, I can also send you a copy of this podcast if you would like, and we can upload it onto your YouTube channel if you would like.
I'd love that. Thank you so much. You're all so beautiful, and I'll leave you with one last.
Absolutely.
Don't try to be like anybody else. Just remember who you are. Well, that's a horrible picture. I think what happened? Huh.
Looks like the internet's getting a little glitchy on our vibrations. Looks like it's time to close out. Thank you, Grandma Blue Star, for joining us and sharing your wisdom and having fun with us today. We'll see you on the other side.
All right. Take care, Christopher. ChristoLight.
All right, everyone. So that will do it for today's fresh new episode of Grand Rising with ChristoLight. You know, we've been going in some deep, deep stuff and talking about the rabbit holes of life. You know, we talked about plant medicine safety. We've talked about the different dimensions, the rays of light. We've talked about different ascended master archetypes to connect with on your journey. But this was a really special and beautiful space. We just really got to sit down, have a genuine one-on-one conversation with one of our wonderful star sisters on this planet Earth, Grandmother Blue Star, Barbara Vitale. And I just gotta say, guys, reach out to her. She's an open book. She is very fun to connect with. And she's not as intimidating, as elders typically. Typically we're a little intimidated by elders and we don't really know how to approach. We don't really know if we can joke around or have fun with them. But I will say, Grandma Blue Star is one of those ones that embraces, allows the opening up of fun, creativity, expression, authenticity, and it's just so beautiful. And we thank you, Grandmother Blue Star, for your journey and who you are at the end of this life. And with that, I also thank all of you for being the individuals that you are in this life as we continue to live in this unified field of connection, life, and living in the universe. I am grateful for all of you. And man, there's just so much beauty in life. And we're going to continue to grow, continue to evolve, and continue to rise together. One day at a time, one day at a time. If you guys have any questions, reach out. If you guys would like to book any one-on-one services online or in person, if you would like to find out about and attend any of my retreats that I have around the country coming up this year, including Sedona and a shamanic retreat in October in Ohio, as well as Sarasota, Florida for the winter solstice, just reach out to me. You can also scan this QR code and you're able to access my services, retreats, the worldwide community, as well as anything else that you can. All right, guys, that'll do it. And you guys can tune in later tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern for the Full Moon Aquarius Sacred Kingdom podcast with myself and fellow Sacred Kingdom members tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. We're live on the Sacred Light Broadcast Network. Wholeness, balanced love vibrations.